Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I suppose this is a good time for me to start. Hi, dzień dobry, cześć. My name is Aliaksej Burnosenka and I'm here to present you the topic They Aren't Stupid. Some secrets of communicating with clients and the art of explanation. Yeah, that's actually what we're going to run through. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to type your questions, possibly you know the rules. And let's jump into the topic slowly. So what are we going to talk right now? First of all, yes, I'm really happy that you attending this beautiful event. I hope I will present also on next in 1 month the event called QA Summit. And for me, it's a great pleasure. I'm here in the center of Warsaw because the weather is not so good. And like, possibly we can go closer to the topic. That's right. Actually, I'm already providing the first part of our speech, the introduction, the things that you possibly see right now on your screen. Very soon, we will talk a little bit about the value Smith compliance. It's all connected. I mean, it's kind of basic for our topic. Then we all understand that everything is bad and we all doomed and cursed and nothing can save us. But later, I propose you to learn several methods, several ways, tips, tricks, hints, clues, how to change the situation in better way. And finally, I propose you at the very end some strategies to out of the box ones. And of course, you're absolutely welcome to ask your questions. And I didn't actually practice my timing here, so I have absolutely no clue how long it takes me to provide this talk for you. So technically, I suppose we will have time for questions like between 1 minute and 20 minutes approximately. But anyway, we will do something good with that. So let's go deeper into the topic. There is kind of tradition. I don't like this tradition. I mean, I'm a very narcissistic person and like myself very much, but I'm a very shy person also. So it's difficult for me to present, to present myself. Anyway, I decided to do it approximately this short way. I am senior QA lead right now. I'm 9 years working in QA sphere in quality assurance at all. Well, I had approximately 7 big projects. I mean, project I worked for longer than 3 months, approximately. 5 years ago, I first passed my first ISTQB certification. Yeah, 3 people is the amount of subordinates I had in my team as a team lead. And one is my goal, my particular goal from this talk, from this speech for you, ladies and gentlemen. So my desire, my wish, my goal now is to let everybody my best goal is if everybody of you can choose only one best tool, best method, best idea, how to change your situation we are discussing right now in better way. What actually situation we are discussing? So this is about my presentation. This is it. I don't know. Should we discuss the situation? Yes, let's discuss the situation in a few more minutes. I will provide you with some also disclaimer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a magician. I haven't studied in Hogwarts, so I cannot change magically the behavior of your client. Actually, I cannot even change your behavior, but the only thing I can do for you right now is to propose you several ideas how you can change your behavior in order to change the way of your communicating with your client, with experts, with managers, with not so engineering team. I will talk more about the problem we're discussing in a few minutes. One more thing, there is no silver bullet. I'm sure there is no any method that will help you completely and solve all your problems. Just few of pretty many tips, tricks, ideas, or traps I will mention actually work for you. And it's, sorry for saying that it's your problem to try to choose which one is better, but I really trust in your sanity. I really trust in your possibility to choose and to implement the correct trick to change any problematic situation in a better way. And yeah, as I already said, I cannot promise 100% success. I mean, all the tricks, all the methods, all the approaches I will discuss with you within next 45 minutes, they worked for some cases, they worked for some other teams. They was efficient and effective for some people, but I'm not sure they actually will be effective or efficient for you. So to reach the success, you should try. And like three different basic ways how to use this, like our meeting, this talk I'm providing right now. First, most common, the way that actually brings the results, and usually people use this way, is if you have any problem in your communication with client, managers, experts, like non-engineering team. So you listen, you learn some method, and then you do a big, huge homework. I mean, you trying, you implementing, you changing your behavior, and this finally can solve your problem after a few months, in best cases, a few weeks, in normal cases, after a few years, possibly. Another way, very enjoying, very fun, is ignorant way. When no matter you have problem or maybe you don't have a problem, you start this talk. In a few minutes, I will propose you a link to funny video, so you watch this video at the end, and you continue to live, like to do whatever you want to do. It's okay. I mean, if you don't need this information, it's absolutely up to you. I'm really happy that you are listening to me right now. That's okay. And one more, as you see on the screen, the most efficient, the proactive way, when you start implementing some tips and tricks in your practice, even before the problem appears. So like in a few seconds, I will propose you the explanation, the description of actually problem, but in pretty like basic words. So you already, even having no problem, you can start implementing some tricks. So actually, in your situation, there will never be any problem at all in your future. So finally, what we're talking about? We're talking about a situation, not so pleasant situation in the communication between you and any kind of them. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm kind of highlighting and kind of point into sharp relief the picture. I mean, of course, there are never any kind of them and us. There's no any kind of real, how to say, confrontation between us, because we always actually are one big team in real life. But just for the purpose of Halloween, happy Halloween, everybody! Just for the purpose of this speech, I will create such kind of like dramatized picture, like there are we, like technical specialists, actually testers, because this is tester summit, so nobody except testers here. And there are kind of them, and among them there are managers, there are investors, business representatives, like subject matter experts, different customers if they like visit you and communicate to you like directly. So, and imagine that there is something happen when not all of you are satisfied with the communication. Maybe you feel that your customers don't believe your idea, don't trust, don't accept your idea well enough. Maybe you do not accept the idea of your customers. Maybe you don't like these ideas. You're trying to explain, but the customers continue to persuade you that their ideas is something. Well, anything that brings you or your like opponent in this discussion, in this communication, to any kind of discomfort situation. And right here on the slide, I propose you to think a little bit, already start thinking into the topic about the values of those people. Managers, project managers worry about deadlines. Product managers about objective key results. Investors, return of investment, of course. Business, well, happy customers and of course profit. Customers want to solve the problem. And you, what is your goal? I mean, okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, of course, the picture is very much more complicated than on this slide. I understand it, you understand it, and I'm sure that there are some of those like groups of people in this talk. I'm sure there are somebody like managers listening to me right now, maybe even people who have been investors once, or maybe you, the owners of the business. So it's okay. And of course, picture is more complicated. But I'm just trying to make it like simpler to find where to put the efforts of actually testers to solve this difficult situation. And yeah, and well, the key is you and all those, I mean, you as testers and all those people around you simply speak different languages. You have different values. You have different, yes, well, this slide, I will show you this slide. Different knowledge, different expectations. And it's approximately like, if you talk to a metaphor, approximately like on this picture. Have you ever seen this picture before? This is the example of food photo. When professional photographers, they make a professional pictures of food, and later you will see those pictures. I mean, you can find them in Unsplash, where you can see those pictures on big advertising, big boards, all those hamburgers or very tasty soup and so on. So on this particular slide, you can see that if the food photographer needs to make a beautiful picture of this, like a syrup that is on those pancakes, they use the motor oil, because normal syrup will be like, will go inside those pancakes, will be mixed, and those motor oils will always stay above, and they can spend half an hour, and so on making those pictures and add more. And actually it is cheaper than to waste the sugar syrup. Another thing on the right, there is the school glue that they use to mimic yogurt. So when you see pictures of yogurt, very so beautiful and bright and white and so on, you don't see yogurt. You see this absolutely uneatable, possibly poisonous glue here. But why I'm talking to you about that? Very simple. Pictures have another purpose than real food. Real food, the purpose of real food is to make you eat this food and digest and become healthy. Pictures just need to represent the food. That is why they use different those not so eatable things to demonstrate, to picture the food, to make it more beautiful. And finally, oh my God, unfortunately, the slides a little bit deformed while being attached to this talk. But anyway, I can post this link here. So if you get tired and bored of my speech, my blah, blah, blah here, you're absolutely welcome to click to the link. I posted the link into the chat right now. I hope very soon you will see this link and you can click it, or you can right now take your smartphones and scan this QR code, and you're welcome to spend about 10 to 15 minutes watching some details about food picture instead of listening to all this stuff. And we will stay here with people who are really interested in learning more about the communication between customer and the engineering team, so you as a tester. Well, I hope everybody who had to make a picture or scan this QR code already did it. If no, possibly you can ask about it in the question section, and I will definitely jump back to the slide so you can do it again. Of course, you're absolutely welcome also to watch this video during the next presentation, not mine, because mine is very interesting. So coming back, the situation, this is you, mostly tester, but engineering team. And imagine there are different other people around, and they have different values, different knowledge, different expectations. They have they don't care about some details. I will mention a case with those QA scripts, QA automation script, or checklist in about 5 minutes. And they need their own results from the project. This is actually the main case. So imagine right now in the picture, this is beautiful metaphor of the situation that is happening. Imagine there are 6 very clever, very wise, but blindfolded with closed eyes scientists, or wise men, wise people. And they had never heard about the elephant. And they were invited to investigate the elephant, and they investigate different parts of elephant. And you see, on this picture, for somebody, elephant is a fan. For somebody, it's a spear. For somebody, it's kind of snake or a rope or a wall, or it's a tree if they touch the leg of the elephant. Approximately the same thing happens on your project. It's much bigger than usually we focus on, than usually we understand. I mean, again, in some good projects, managers, Scrum masters are the people, they do their best to give you as a engineering team representative, as a tester, the general picture, what is project about. But in real life, it's not always the case. It's not happen always. That is why sometimes we have just limited understanding. And well, what should we do with all this? Actually, it's your time, it's your possibility to decide what to do with this. And right here, right now, oh my God, again, not so beautifully copied pictures. Anyway, this is enough for us. First cognitive life hack. So many of us are afraid so much. Yes, why I'm saying that? Why I'm saying that? We're afraid of it. I provide pretty often training courses about soft skills for engineering teams of different companies. Different soft skills like management, public speaking, whatever, communication skills. And I know that old school, very like high level engineering, especially, they hate small talks. When I started my, like yesterday, my project job, just hard work on my project, I also hate all those small talks because they waste my time. So within half an hour of meeting, I spend third time of this meeting for small talks and then just 20 time to exchange valuable information. Sometimes I cannot finish it in time, so I have to book another one. So work less. I don't like it too. So people like me, possibly people like you, hate small talks. But on the other hand, I also love small talks because they prepare the audience. They prepare your opponent to speech. They give your opponent positive emotions about you. They associate you as a person they communicate with positive emotions. So, interesting thing, very important thing right now. They more likely will trust you. They more likely will agree with you. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, use small talks if you really need to persuade person in front of you that your opinion is correct. Use small talk, prepare those people. Okay, let's go further. Beautiful quote. I like it so much. Like one wise woman said once that your communication is like sex. If you didn't make people want to do it with you, then you simply rape them. So, what is the idea of this quote? Make people you communicate with be ready, agree to communicate with you. Make them be acceptable, make them accepting, not acceptable, accepting. Make them be able to accept your ideas, even if their ideas doesn't correspond with your idea completely and fully. Let's go further. One more pretty old school, pretty easy cognitive life hack is to repeat it 3 times. Again, like tell them what you're going to tell them. Then tell them it. And then summarize. I mean, tell them what you told them. It means it's kind of like in real life, it's absolutely easy and very efficient and very effective trick when you start your explanation from, listen, approximately phrase like, hello, gentlemen, hello, colleagues, or hi, guys, hi, folks, it's depending on the situation. Like, now I would be happy to propose you the idea why we should implement such changes in our product. So, you see that here is blah, blah, blah problem, blah, blah, blah user, blah, blah, blah goes, blah, blah, blah sees. So if we change it the way I said to you, the user goes blah, 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 the user does blah, 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 and the user is more happy. So you provide all the full explanation, and at the end, third time, you phrase something like, so based on all those proofs, you can see that the idea to implement those changes kind of will bring the user or the customer, the end user of this application to like better experience, to happiness, and so on and so forth. Good, this is it. So this is just second cognitive life hack. Just repeat it 3 times. Announce it in the beginning, prepare, like fertilize the soil, then tell all the things you're going to tell, and finally summarize it. It works. It just works. Well, as you see, in your communication with whoever, with managers, with customers, with business, with experts, with end users, with clients, You might focus on the values of your client, of the person you communicate with. So you might focus on deadlines or key results for managers, again, working solution for customers and users. Or you can focus on your problems and situations. Depending on your choice, you can reach different results. If you focus more on values of your clients, you obviously make the clients more happy. If you focus on your situation, you possibly, well, doubtfully, but possibly can make yourself happy. But will you make yourself happy? It's kind of still debating. One interesting thing, it's a mind trap, like that happens also. Why it's called mind trap? Because it can happen with me, it can happen with you, it can happen with everybody of us. People, normal people like me, like everybody of you, can, well, if they see different set of information, of ideas, they focus on the ones of them that correspond and complies to their goals, to their desires. I hope I have the slide with a beautiful example. If the phrase is something like, this feature is very difficult to be realized, the person who don't really want to work on this feature hears something like, this feature is very difficult. The person who just wants this feature to be realized can hear, this feature is to be realized. Well, by hear, I don't mean, of course, physically hear and just do not hear something, the things that they don't want to hear. But I mean, they put attention on. And this absolutely complies with nowadays psychological approach when all of us are overwhelmed with information and all of us have to find the way to filter all the information comes from different sources. All this advertising, information, TikTok, memes, all this stuff, and of course project goals, different calls, different meetings. We try to filter to make our mind relax, have a rest, and to filter only the essential information we can proceed and use for our activity. That is why sometimes we miss. It's a normal situation for normal human mind. It's a cognitive rule. We ignore some pieces of information that does not correspond to our own desires. And this is very important. So if you say something your opponents don't want to hear, if you say something that does not correspond with the goal and you didn't prepare the soil, you didn't prepare your opponent to hear, to agree with you, they will ignore it. Pretty often they just don't hear you when you say that. This is it. One of my trap I promised you 5 minutes ago. Your own situation. Imagine that you spend 2 full days working, combining, finding the correct locator for this particular QA automation script, and this application is very messy and it was very difficult to find this locator, or you spend again those 2 days building, filling this horrible checklist if you are more manual than automatic. And well, your opponent, the person you communicate to, the business person, so on, also they just don't know what you're talking about. I mean, all this technical jargon, all this technical information you tell is kind of hullabaloo. It's kind of the information they cannot proceed. This information they cannot understand what we're talking, and they have no time to listen to all technical things, and they have no desire, of course. So one more very basic proposal for everybody of you: avoid jargon, simplify. Say it in very simple words. Say it in the language of the person you talk. Of course, in your phrase, you can add something. You can add this disclaimer. If you wish, we can book a meeting and I will explain you all the details. But right now, the main idea is, for example, we need more time. We need more story points, or we can do it faster. We don't need so much time. Yeah, this is it. So if you say it in your language, people doubtfully can understand you. If you want them to understand, do your best to speak in your language. Good. In a case, if you have something to ask, If you have a question to person you communicate with, what to do, how to make it in more effective way. Well, there are classical recommendations, classical like approaches. Active listening. If you don't know what is it, you can easily Google active listening rules. It's important. I don't want to repeat them right now because there are only 25 minutes left till the end of my speech. So just Google active listening. If you didn't do it ever before, it's really important. If you did, you know what I'm talking about. Formal politeness. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even if there is kind of hi folks, how guys, sema mordo, and so on, some different like approaches, familiar approaches in your communication, like more like informal way of communicating. Anyway, formal politeness, all this horrible British, excuse me, sir, but could you please kindly be so kind, if you don't mind, to reconsider the options that you propose to us, and blah, 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 blah. How to find it? Again, you can Google formal English language, formal politeness, and it's really useful to learn. I mean, depending on the language you use, you can use it in Polish too. Next, cultural sensitivity. Remember that different people from different cultures, they have different approach. If you work in international teams, I work in international teams all my life, all my 9 years of practical experience as engineering specialist, as QA. I work with like people from China, India, different. And yes, this is important to know, to understand how they used to provide different meetings. One more very secret tip. It's kind of unofficial tip. In a case, if you have a question, I recommend you not to finish this question with something like, what to do with that? I recommend you personally, to be proactive. I recommend you to find, let's say, 2 options how to solve the situation. And in your question, there will be something like, well, we have a question here, we have a situation. What do you think? What is better for us? To provide this way of solving the situation or to provide that way of solving the situation? And very tricky approach is to make one of those ways to present one of those ways as very convenient for all the clients, all the opponents, everybody you talk to, especially for you. And another one, second option, is just bad for everybody. So your clients will be absolutely happy to choose the obvious option. You will be happy to have the option chosen by them. They will feel that they make decisions this way. I mean, I really hope that we're talking about really good option, not any kind of bad option, not any kind of like lie or fake or fraud or something like that. I'm talking about real situation when this option is good for them and for you. So they can choose this option. They compare the option with second one that is bad, and they're absolutely happy that it was easy choice and they made the decision and they behave like real decision makers. Good. Let's move forward. Learn the user perspective. Possibly it is hard to believe, but I really worked once with a developer who once said, I don't know how it looks on the user interface. I just solved this problem on the back end. I don't want to express my emotions about this phrase. I think you understand what I mean. I'm really absolutely sure you understand what I mean. Next, very good very good trick, sorry for you. Tricks or treats. Highlight even small solutions, even small improvement. They make the client happy. You absolutely well. You don't need to lie, of course. You never be absolutely honest. You're absolutely welcome to say that, okay, this is small, minor improvement, blah, 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 but highlight. Even if for you it were like 1 minute of like correcting, I don't know, putting one additional letter or something, just nothing. Highlight it because it makes, it's your job, and by your job, you actually made the application better. Why don't you inform the clients, the customers about it? Please do inform. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, so approximately 20 minutes left till the end of all my presentation. We go to kind of out of the box recommendations and strategies. So those ones are not secret, like under the sofa. They are pretty well known, some of them, but My experience says that not all of them are well used in the engineering teams, and they really can help you if you start implementing them. First, your homework, your preparation to a discussion. If the only thing why you remember about any kind of customer meeting is a reminder that, okay, in 5 minutes you have a customer meeting, it starts in 5 minutes and you have it in your Outlook. Well, this is kind of bad approach. I wouldn't recommend you this approach. I recommend you, if you have important meetings, to book additional 1 hour time slot before, possibly one day before, for preparation, especially if it's a demo meeting that happens once per month or once per sprint, for example, classical 2 weeks. It can be very important. So the process, the ritual of pre-demo, when you provide the training of demo, rehearsal of demo, and only inside your engineering team is really good approach. And any preparation will make your presentation better, will make your phrases better. You can prepare phrases, you can prepare what to speak, you can prepare visuals. We'll talk about visuals in a few seconds. Next, second, classical recommendation: fertilize the soil. Prepare your opponents, prepare people you communicate with for your ideas. What does this mean? Smile, behave in a positive way, use a correct amount of small talks, even in the case if you hate them. Most likely when somebody of you hates small talks, you just don't want correctly how to use them. You don't have experience. You can simply Google how to provide a good small talks for engineering, and you can find really good recommendations just in the Google, and you can implement those recommendations. It works. Everybody uses it because it works. So prepare your people, make your people be positive, make your people be happy to listen to you, be happy to accept your ideas. And thus they will accept your ideas. Good. Let's make step forward. Next recommendation: chunk the information. Cut all the information in small, digestible pieces. How can you, ladies and gentlemen, eat an elephant, everybody of you? This is kind of a classical question, again, very, very old school. Of course, it is impossible for one person to eat an elephant at once, but piece by piece, within a few months, within a few years, you can eat the elephant. Just cut the information into small pieces. Make the end of each piece visual, understandable. Some phrases like, okay, this is the end of chapter 1. Do you have any questions? Good. Let's sip a little bit of coffee, tea, whatever you have. Actually, I will do it right now. Amazing. And thus, the information will be digested much better by people talking to you. Next, metaphors, analogies, storytelling. Once upon a time, there was a small little Jira issue that happened to the application and nobody could deal with it, nobody could resolve it, blah, blah, blah. So there is a big, interesting field of science, how to choose proper metaphors, analogies, storytelling. Actually, if you're interested to learn more about it, you're absolutely welcome to contact me personally. You will see my contact at the end. And I'm providing for engineering teams, for IT teams. I have a huge experience of providing storytelling and public speaking training courses for IT teams. So you're absolutely welcome. I will be really happy to provide it for you. We can discuss all the conditions. But in any case, even for free, you can go to Google and find some basic tips how to implement storytelling, analogies, metaphors into your speech. And this will make your presentation more eatable, more tasty. Visualize it. Visualize it, yes, correct this, visualize it. So make it visual, even in a case, if you're going to present very minor results on the back end, make a screenshot of the code and show them, just simply show them the screenshot of code that you change it. Even if it's absolutely non-visible, if you have to report it, if you have to tell them about that, it's a good idea. I already told you that it's a good idea to highlight any kind of improvement, any solution, even very minor. So So you're welcome to make a screenshot and show, yes, I changed it like this comma right here, I changed the symbol here, I changed the function here, and so on. So make it more visual. And yeah, this is basically it. And let's jump further to final possibly part of my part of this presentation, of this time when I'm talking and you are listening. Very soon you will start talking. I mean, I already possibly got some questions, I hope, and I will answer questions. But right now, just basic understandable strategies how to structure your explanation, your demo, your presentation, anything. First, structure it by time. Well, literally, as simple as it's written on the screen in front of you. First, the user does this. After that, this happens. This drop-down appears, or this whatever, like this file saved, and so on. After that, the user have to go blah, blah, blah. After that, we need to wait. So time by time, just time by time. In time. Why? Because it's just like logical for our mind. You see, we cannot travel in this dimension, in dimension of time, as far as I know. I mean, I cannot. Maybe there are somebody of you who can travel in time, but I'm not. Sorry, nobody taught me. If you can teach me how to do it, please do. So in time we go from past to future normally. But this is the way how the mind of your opponent, people you communicate, can process the information in more useful, more like normal way. Next, another way is the place. It's very similar, but another directions. Now we're talking about the geographical directions, left, right, up, X, Y, Z axis. It's like explaining the road. So first you follow this way, then you turn right, or in our real life, in like QA life, on the left up corner of our screen, you can, instead of phrase here and moving the mouse, you can explain that on the left top corner, you can see. Then you move to the right. Then the user finds this particular button on the right bottom and blah, blah, blah. So you follow the user, focusing on geographical position of the user's attention. Or you just follow the attention of people you communicate with in geographical way. Next, dependence and relation. A little bit different approach when you focus on, relation. So, for example, when you click this button, an absolutely different page, and you change the tab of your browser when you demonstrate it, you see this changes, and here appears a new option of, for example, payment by credit card or something like that, depending on the application you work with. Because it's connected, it's related. One is a cause for another. Next, importance. One approach when you start with the most important thing, if you have several ideas to present, to demonstrate, to explain, you can start, for example, with the most important. It's just one approach. Later, in 2 minutes, I will tell you opposite approach. So if you go by this approach, you start with the most important thing, then second most important thing, then third most important thing, and then you go to least important thing. In this case, if your speech unexpectedly interrupted by anything, I don't know, nuclear war, nuclear blast, or just internet interruption, you already said the most important things. This is done. This is okay. Next, relation to project goals. One more approach that's really good for like project managers, for product managers. The things that more connected to the goals of the project, the things that brings the project to reaching the goal. More valuable, minimal valuable product. More valuable MVP. Next one, technique of AIDA. Ladies and gentlemen, this technique comes from marketing, like pure marketing. I mean, AIDA, like every banner, every advertising video, commercial video you see on YouTube while watching your favorite memes that appears unexpectedly, usually made based on AIDA technique. I will not tell more about it. You can Google it. Marketing, AIDA, you can read. It's really great technique. It works. It works for centuries. It works for literature, for marketing, for advertising, for everything. It can work for you too. Diamond necklace. It's another approach opposite to the importance. When you start with not so important thing, then you go to the more important, then more important, then even more important, and then the most important thing. So each time, so you can dramatize it. Each time the user see, wow, how important it is, nothing more important than this, then you go to the next point you're going to explain, and they understand how good, how great are you. Yes, it's kind of dramatization, and it can work also for our engineering work. And next is just your own creative way. So you can find your own creative way that I'm not aware absolutely, your own creative way, how to structure your explanation. Ladies and gentlemen, approximately 10 minutes left till the end of my time within this Tester Summit. You can find my contacts if you wish. You can call me, you can email me, you can just find me in LinkedIn. You're absolutely welcome. And right now, in case if you have some questions, I would be absolutely happy to answer them. And if we don't have any questions, we all can go to finish drinking our tea, coffee, or finally close the task you taken 20 minutes ago in Jira. So, do we have any questions right now? As far as I know, it's time for me to see the questions that appears on my screen. Yes. Does business even see the value in testing? Well, I couldn't answer you about every business, of course, because I didn't work with every business. I'm not familiar with every business in the world. Sometimes they don't. It's a question of priorities. And you or anybody instead of you, anybody else can explain the business, the importance and the value of testing. Can explain, for example, yes, one of possible explanations is money. If we're talking about business, remember there was slide, what is valuable for business? Money, profit. It's very important for business. So somebody can explain, for example, that the feature in any case should be tested to make sure that we are ready to give this feature to our end user. But if the developer tests this feature, you will pay, so it has to be tested within 2 hours, normally in average, and developer will spend 2 hours and you will pay 2 hours of his work. But if you hire a mid-level tester is, for example, enough for testing this feature, such complicated feature, you will pay approximately a little bit lower salary of 2 hours of tester work. This is kind of language for business they can understand. It will be cheaper for them to have this feature made in high quality way than if the developer, for example, test it. This is my opinion on this case, but not always business knows the value of testing. And I work a little bit with United States, and in the United States it's kind of pretty common, at least in my experience, that United States business, they don't value testing and they prefer developers to test everything, pretty often, not always, pretty often. Thank you very much for the question. If it's okay, we can go to our next question. I hope I answered the question well. If I didn't, you're welcome to rephrase your question and post it again. So, magic. I want magic. Yes, I have. I see next question. Question from Facebook. How to present the value of testing to the business? Because I noticed that according to them, it's only generates cost. Well, yeah, that's one way I hope I already presented you just a minute ago to demonstrate the price of this feature tested by developer with the developer's salary, and demonstrate the price of this feature tested by QA with QA salary. And one more thing important that you can highlight, that developer is not used with some quality assurance bug tracking systems, not always really good in testing. Not all developers know all those all pairs testing or mutation testing on different complicated things that can be really important for some particular types of product you work with. But if you do it, if you you can focus that, yeah, those guys are cheaper and they're experts in testing, so they can find the bug in the place where developer just have no time to find the bug. That's kind of my opinion, how to focus it. And of course, if you talk about in general, prepare business, those people from business book particular time to discuss this value of testing and prepare your argument. So make your homework before you start discussing this question with particular people from business, for example. Thank you very much. I hope I answered your question. And we have next one from Adam. What technical skills are important for the tester if the client has an idea if the client has an idea of the technicalities? Wow. Adam, to be honest, I'm not quite sure I understood your question well enough. Well, for me, the answer is like important two big fields of technical skills. First, particular quality assurance technical skills. If you have agreement with the client about particular bug tracking system, be it Jira or TestRail or whatever. Knowing all those tools, all those frameworks you use, particular quality assurance frameworks. And second, less important for QA, but more important for devs, anyway, pretty important for QA because it makes the work even better and moves from black box closer to white box, is knowing all the tools the developers use, be it, I don't know, Drupal, Cypress, Cypress is again ours, I don't know, the language, particular language, PHP, whatever, the .NET. So knowing particular QA technical skills, and knowing more developers' technical skills. I mean, if we're going about imaginary best, like paradise level of QA who like same qualified as developers in developers like tools they use. But Adam, please, if I didn't quite correctly answer, you're absolutely welcome to like rephrase your question because like in this view, I'm not sure I understood and answered your question well enough. I'm ready for next question if you have some. So magic of our host. Question from Facebook. Why do the testing team and the client often fail to communicate? Well, from my opinion, they not always aware about the benefits from all the tricks and hints and tips I shared with you just like within those like 47 minutes we communicated. They don't think about it. They never thought about it. Whose mistake is it? Like it's depends. I mean, we can try to blame somebody. This can be made in a really good way by people who initiate the project, by product managers, by project managers, so they can do some efforts in order to make them communicate. There are some particular people to help with that. For example, Scrum Master, who also can help and in best case know and understand how it works and how to make this communication better. So they don't value this communication. They don't aware. It's like, you see, it's like our health. Sometimes we just feel bad and we have no idea what is it. And then we go to doctor and doctor explains, okay, this is a virus that happens somewhere, or maybe this virus that you got when you visited this particular place, maybe this kind of tropical virus you brought from Cyprus. There are not so much, I don't know, from any kind of tropical country. So this virus make you really sick. So go right now to hospital, quarantine for 2 months and so on. So they also not aware, they have no idea that this problem exists. Again, to see this problem is also expect some experience and some knowledge from people involved in the product. Thank you very much. I'm ready for next question if you have some, and we have only 2 minutes left as far as I know. I really hope I answered this question. Okay, that's all the question. This one. Are testers the bridge between the customer clients and the developers, or that's the BA's role? Well, great question. First of all, there is no the only correct answer. It very much depends on the particular project. I mean, in all projects I participated, it always was in different ways. There is pretty possible that the QAs can be this bridge between customer and developer. There is pretty possible if QA can do it, and this is, by the way, it's a really good way for you as tester, as QA, to grow up to the level of test manager or BA or anybody with higher salary. So when you practice your soft skills, you make your personality more useful for the project, and you make your personality more valuable for your project or for another project, for this company or for next company you will work with. So you can in some way raise your price on the job market. If you know more hard or soft skills, it's obvious, absolutely obvious. So you just make your CV bigger, you add skills so you can do. But basically, in ideal, well-structured world, this is the BA's role. And only in the case if BAs do their role in a good way, you as tester can relax. But remember, do not avoid the possibility for yourself to grow up. Thank you, Adam, for your question. Good. I hope I'm done. And time is definitely, we have 30 seconds left. That's all the questions from our viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was great pleasure for me to talk to you now, to answer your questions and to share everything I learned from my pretty bumpy road of my life. And I wish you a great success. I wish you great development. You're welcome to contact me. Again, contacts on the screen. And please follow Tester Summit in Facebook and Instagram. And of course, you can find this speech in YouTube and other different... Oh, this is my alarm about the time. Thank you very much and goodbye. Have a great rest of the day.